Ryan Kent was without a doubt one of the brightest sparks at Rangers during his prime years at the club. The English winger with his trademark pace direct dribbling style and moments of pure flair became a fan favorite at Ibrox, a player who could lift fans from their seats with a single touch or a sudden burst down the flank. He brought excitement, unpredictability, and a relentless energy that made him a constant threat and a key part of Rangers' attacking arsenal. But while he once set Scottish football alight, his career took a sharp turn after leaving Glasgow, and now in a surprising twist, his name is once again being linked with a return to the spotlight, albeit not necessarily at Ibrox. The latest wave of speculation surrounding Ryan Kent has everything to do with the collapse of his adventure in Turkey. His high-profile move to Fenerbahce, which at first promised a new chapter filled with opportunity, turned into a frustrating experience that never truly got off the ground. Despite the initial hype, Kent struggled to settle in Istanbul. The system didn't suit him, the expectations were sky high, and consistent minutes on the pitch became harder and harder to come by. In just over a year, his role in the team faded, and with Jose Mourinho stepping into the managerial role, the writing was on the wall. Mourinho wasted no time reshaping the squad, and Kent once again found himself pushed to the sidelines. His contract, reportedly a lucrative deal, was ultimately ripped up, a clear indication that the club had no more plans for him. That sudden end sparked immediate rumors about what would come next. Given his past heroics in Glasgow, many believed a return to Rangers was not only possible but perhaps even likely. The club had changed since he left, of course. New faces had come in, and the managerial situation evolved, but the memory of Kent's best days still lingered. Former Rangers boss Philippe Clement didn't shy away from expressing his admiration for the player either. Back when he was in charge of Club Brugge, he had already shown interest in bringing Kent to Belgium, and his positive words only fueled the belief that the winger might make a comeback during the January window. Turkish media added more fuel to the fire, suggesting that talks had taken place. But the move never materialized. Whether due to financial disagreements, timing issues, or simply the club moving in a different direction, Kent's Ibrox return didn't happen, and he remained stuck in football in limbo. But now it appears the next chapter in Kent's story is finally being written, and it's unfolding far from Europe. Reports from across the Atlantic suggest that the Seattle Sounders, one of Major League Soccer's most respected clubs, are in advanced negotiations to sign the winger. For Kent, this move could be the fresh start he so desperately needs. The Sounders are a well-run club with a strong fan base and ambitions to challenge for silverware, and the prospect of injecting some European flair into their attack with a player of Kent's pedigree is certainly appealing to them. According to sources close to the deal, Kent would join the Sounders for the remainder of the MLS season, with the option to extend the deal into the 2026 campaign if he performs well. It's a move that on paper makes sense for both sides. For Kent, it's a chance to finally shake off the frustrations of the past year and remind people of the kind of footballer he can be. For Seattle, it's an opportunity to add a dynamic winger with experience at the highest levels, someone who's played in old firm derbies, European nights, and title races. And for fans, it's a storyline worth following, the rise, fall, and potential rebirth of a player who once had the world at his feet. Whether he can rediscover that electric form in a new environment remains to be seen, but few would bet against a player with Kent's talent when given the right platform and confidence. While Kent's possible move to America has dominated headlines, that's not the only big story coming out of Ibrox this week. Another former figure within the Rangers ecosystem has made a surprising move, but this time off the pitch. Mark Warburton, once the man in charge of the Rangers dugout, has now taken up a new challenge across the pond. He's been appointed as the sporting director and head of soccer for Sporting Club Jacksonville, a USL franchise in Florida. This role will see Warburton take a hands-on approach, appointing head coaches for the men's, women's, and youth sides, while also shaping the club's recruitment strategies. But more interestingly, he's also encouraged both Rangers and Celtic to explore partnerships with American clubs, citing the increasing need for wider scouting networks and the development of transatlantic player pathways. Warburton's comments are not without merit. In today's global game, clubs across Europe are constantly looking to tap into new markets, discover untapped talent, and create smoother pathways for young players to develop. The United States, with its growing infrastructure, expanding leagues, and a rising interest in football, presents a fertile ground for such partnerships. And Warburton, having worked in both the British game and now in American soccer, believes that clubs like Rangers and Celtic, with their global fan bases and historical stature, are perfectly positioned to benefit from this kind of collaboration. Whether either side of the Glasgow divide takes that step remains to be seen, but it's clear that the landscape of football is changing, and smart clubs are those who adapt early. Back to the pitch, there's another name at Rangers that's been turning heads this season: Nicolas Raskin. The Belgian midfielder has gone from being a solid squad member to a genuine star under the guidance of Barry Ferguson. His performances in midfield have been nothing short of sensational, commanding, energetic, and technically sharp. And now, with a first call-up to the Belgian national team under his belt, the 24-year-old is attracting attention from beyond Scotland. His debut for Belgium saw him take part in both fixtures, but it was the match against Ukraine on the 23rd of March that truly highlighted his talent. Belgium came from behind in dramatic fashion, and Raskin's contribution was central to that turnaround, earning him the Man of the Match accolade. With such performances, it's only natural that Premier League clubs have begun to take notice. Raskin, who is under contract until the summer of 2027, is not someone Rangers are desperate to sell. But the club has a history of missing the optimal moment to cash in on valuable assets, and some pundits are urging them not to repeat that mistake. The example of Ryan Kent is often cited, a player whose peak market value was perhaps never fully realized by Rangers. With Raskin now on the rise and his profile growing at the international level, the upcoming summer transfer window could force the club into making a difficult decision. Do they try to tie him down with an improved deal, or do they capitalize on his soaring value while they still can? At this stage, it's difficult to predict what will happen, but what's clear is that Raskin's ambition may well lead him to seek out the bright lights of the Premier League. His skill set, energy, and versatility would certainly appeal to several clubs south of the border, and if he continues performing at this level, Rangers may find it tough to keep him. As always in football, timing is everything. Selling too early can come back to haunt you, but waiting too long can mean missing out altogether. And as the speculation swirls around the futures of both Ryan Kent and Nicolas Raskin, another name has quietly but convincingly stepped into the spotlight. And that's Ioannis Hagi, the Romanian playmaker who has had a roller coaster spell at Rangers filled with moments of brilliance and long spells of uncertainty, has now reignited his form on the international stage. In Romania's dominant 5-0 win over San Marino during the recent World Cup qualifiers, Hagi showed once again what he is capable of when given the freedom to express himself. Coolly dispatching a penalty and orchestrating much of Romania's attacking play, he reminded everyone of the technical quality and footballing IQ that first brought him to Ibrox. His rating of 8.3 out of 10 according to DataSite, FM Mob underlines just how influential he was across the 90 minutes. Calm in possession, sharp in his movement, and decisive in the final third, it was a performance that not only delighted Romanian fans, but also posed a question back in Glasgow. Is there still a future for Ioannis Hagi at Rangers? That question becomes even more pressing when you look at his current contract situation. Hagi's deal with Rangers is set to expire this summer, and with the club still navigating a period of transition, the lack of clarity around his next step continues to fuel speculation. While there's no doubt about his talent, the reality is that Rangers have evolved in recent seasons, bringing in new players, shifting tactical setups, and focusing on different profiles within their midfield and attacking options. Whether there's still space for a player like Hagi, who operates best as a creative number 10 drifting into pockets and linking play, is unclear. But what is certain is that performances like the one he delivered for Romania will not go unnoticed by clubs across Europe. At 26 years old, he's entering what many would consider the prime years of his career. If Rangers decide not to offer him a new contract, or if he chooses to seek regular football elsewhere, there will be no shortage of suitors ready to take a chance on a player with his pedigree. Back on the topic of departures, it's becoming increasingly evident that Rangers may have to brace for more than just one key exit come summer. With multiple players now attracting interest from abroad and down south, the club's recruitment team is already working behind the scenes to identify potential replacements. The January window brought stability, but the summer promises to be far more turbulent, especially if the club's key assets are targeted by wealthier sides. And this is where the challenge lies for Rangers. Balancing short-term success with long-term planning is never easy, especially in a league like the Scottish Premiership, where the financial margins are tight and the pressure to deliver silverware is relentless. Rangers know all too well how difficult it can be to replace top performers quickly. The departure of Alfredo Morelos left a huge void that wasn't immediately filled. Similarly, losing Kent without a ready-made replacement forced the club to rethink its attacking dynamics. So as they prepare for the possibility of Raskin leaving, and as Hagi's situation remains up in the air, the need for clear recruitment strategy becomes vital. And that's why the conversation around transatlantic partnerships, like the one suggested by Mark Warburton, is more than just talk. It represents a real chance for Rangers to expand their horizons, build talent pipelines, and open doors to new markets, both for players coming in and those going out. The idea of linking up with a club in the United States isn't just about finding the next breakout star. It's also about creating an ecosystem where players like Kent, who might be struggling in Europe, can go and reboot their careers, while also keeping a connection to Rangers. Imagine a scenario where the club could loan out young prospects or fringe players to a partner team in the US, allowing them to gain experience in a competitive league before returning to Scotland better prepared. That's the kind of forward-thinking model that clubs across Europe are beginning to explore. And for Rangers who are looking to consolidate their domestic dominance while staying competitive in Europe, it's an avenue worth serious consideration. But even as future plans are made, the focus right now remains on the pitch. With Barry Ferguson now steering the ship, there's a renewed sense of grit and determination in the squad. Ferguson, a club legend who understands the demands of wearing the Rangers shirt better than most, has brought a tougher edge and a clearer identity to the team's play. His influence is already being seen in how the midfield operates. More aggressive, pressing quicker transitions, and a no-nonsense approach when defending. Under his guidance, players like Raskin have flourished, but the overall team has also looked sharper and more disciplined. The hope is that this mentality can carry Rangers through the remainder of the season and possibly deliver another piece of silverware to the Ibrox faithful. Still, the looming transfer window threatens to cast a shadow over the dressing room. When players are in form and attracting attention, it's natural for heads to be turned. That's where the club's leadership group, both on and off the pitch, becomes crucial. Maintaining focus, unity, and purpose during this period is no small task. Ferguson, with his straight-talking style and deep-rooted connection to Rangers, is perhaps the ideal figure to lead during such uncertain times. He knows what it takes to keep a squad focused, and his presence commands respect from players and fans alike. At the same time, the board will have decisions to make. Do they gamble and hold on to rising stars hoping for qualification into the Champions League group stage and the riches that come with it, or do they cash in now, reinvesting in younger talent and trying to build a team that can sustain success? Over several seasons, these are the tough calls that define clubs. Rangers have been here before, and they'll be here again. What matters is that lessons from past windows, missed opportunities, poorly timed sales, and lack of depth are taken into account when shaping the club's future. And then there's the fans, the ever-passionate, fiercely loyal Rangers support. They've seen it all over the years, the highs of league triumphs, the heartbreak of near misses, the glory of European nights, and the pain of rebuilds. They want a team that reflects their passion, a squad that gives everything on the pitch, and a board that makes smart, forward-thinking decisions. With key players potentially leaving, new signings expected, and the prospect of change off the field, with new ownership discussions on the horizon, the coming months could define not just the next season, but the next era at Ibrox. The stories of Kent Raskin and Hagi may be individual chapters, but together they form a bigger narrative about where Rangers are heading. A club at a crossroads, balancing the present with the future, managing ambition with pragmatism. And as always, the eyes of Scottish football, and indeed beyond, will be watching closely. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A storm is brewing at Ibrox, and Barry Ferguson might have just lit the spark. In a recent video that has set tongues wagging among Rangers supporters, the interim head coach appeared to hint that 2 players are dragging the team down. The former captain, known for his no-nonsense approach, didn't hold back as he suggested that certain individuals within the squad are failing to meet the club's high standards. With Rangers battling for dominance in the Scottish Premiership, this revelation has ignited speculation over who these players could be and what it means for the team's future. Ferguson, who took charge after Philippe Clement's dismissal, has been tasked with steadying the ship. However, his comments suggest deeper issues within the squad, raising questions about dressing room dynamics and player commitment. Fans and pundits alike have been dissecting his words, with many pointing fingers at underperforming stars. Could this signal an imminent shakeup in the starting now? Or is this a calculated move to send a message to the squad ahead of a crucial run of fixtures? As the debate rages on, one thing is certain: Rangers are at a crossroads. With Celtic in relentless pursuit of the title, Ferguson's tenure could be defined by how he handles this internal crisis. Will he name the players publicly, or will changes speak louder than words? For now, the Ibrox faithful are left guessing, waiting for the next twist in a saga that could shape the club's season. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.